Welcome back for another video. 41 points from Jamie McDonald, who's leading our top all-time managers league. That was a small red arrow, but he's still 126th in the world. Now the second half of the season begins, so what are the best FPL managers around the world doing for Gameweek 20? As always, we'll go through the experts' data to help guide our decisions. It was a lower scoring week among the top managers and the assets that they owned. Just 41 points was the average expert score, the global average was 40 points. For Gameweek 20, 38% are going to roll, 36% are making one transfer this week, 21% are making two, 5% are making three. No chips active this week. So yeah, obviously in terms of chips, the first and second half of the seasons are completely different stories. Chip usage was pretty wide open in that first half, whereas we're going to expect the chips to be mostly utilised around the double and blank game weeks. The wildcard, I guess, is the biggest exception. There's going to be lots of weeks spread out, but again, largely, most are going to want to wildcard around the double game weeks in a couple of months' time, if possible. 7 managers have taken a -4 hit this week, and there's one -8 in fact. Those hits all include Gabriel coming in. So, who are the top managers buying and selling this week? Well, the number one transfer in after his big return is Gabriel. A goal, a clean sheet, maximum bonus 15 pointer, 42% are buying the Arsenal centre-back. I was saying in last week's content that we might end up getting some lower scoring games over this period, and interestingly, New Year's Day was just the second time in the entire Premier League's history to see as few as 3 0-0 draws when there's 4 games played. As you can see, Arsenal's defence on this chart is just in a league of its own. Gabriel is in a league of his own as well for points per game among defenders. Arsenal collectively 7.4 shots faced per game on average, and only 0.07 XG per shot faced on average. This is the new charts widget, by the way, that's just added on FPL.page. There's a few presets to choose from on a drop down, more to be added in the future. So Van Dijk is the most sold then. He's the one mainly being sacrificed for Gabriel. He doesn't have the worst fixture, and of course he's got Burnley home coming up in a couple of weeks. Others include 8% selling Timber, 7% Nketiah, O'Reilly, Lacroix, Keane and Senesi. 8% are selling Raya as well to free up that third Arsenal spot, and it's quite a spread of keepers going in. Really, it's not clear right now who's the best keeper. Sanchez, Kelleher, Verbrugge and Martinez among those being brought in. Declan Rice remains a doubt for Gameweek 20, and Calafiori has been ruled out, so Nketiah could be saved for another game. Rodgers is the joint second top transfer in, along with Tarkowski and Bowen. Villa have had some tough games in the last couple of game weeks, but now they've got an easier run longer term. It's Forest home next, then it's Palace away, Everton home. They're 8th for projected goals over the next 8 game weeks, which isn't bad, especially when you consider these are talisman, and also considering some teams above them don't have standout options in midfield, like Brighton and Palace mids. Is Watkins being slept on though? Fun fact, over the last 6 game weeks, Watkins is top in the entire league for non-penalty XGI. It's just a shame he's so expensive, 8.6 mil, and I think he's been benched once or twice over those last 6, so yeah, I just don't know if he'd become a popular asset just yet, but it could be a huge differential. 7% are selling Semenyo, and Iraola did just say in his press conference that he's going to play against Arsenal because nothing's signed yet, and I guess it does make sense from a City perspective to let him play that game against Arsenal and then I guess sign him after that in a couple of games from now, or maybe straight after that game, but I guess it does make sense to sell regardless because of the fixture. So at the halfway mark of the season, let's do a quick checkpoint of the FPL rankings. Grab your phone or log on the website and check how many points you're on, total points, and benchmark how far you are to other rank thresholds ahead of you. 1,092 points is 1 million. There's 27 points separating 1 million to 500k. There's 44 points from 500k to top 100k, and there's just 14 points from 100k to 50k. To be top 10k right now, it's 1,206 points currently. Table here courtesy of Live FPL. And a quick checkpoint on team of the season as well at the halfway mark, and it's a 4-5-1 interestingly. Maybe we could have predicted at the start of the season with the addition of Defcons. Lots of centre backs here, and of course we've got a few players like Rice, Bruno G that have benefit. So the team of the season currently is Roofs, Guehi, Gabriel, Chalobah, Timber, Semenyo, Rice, Bruno Fernandes, Bruno G, Foden and Haaland. I am starting to wonder if a front 3 is just not the way to set up myself, and I discussed this in the team selection video earlier. The mids and the defenders just have a much bigger player pool to choose from, and you can actually benefit from Defcons with them as well. Like in terms of forwards, Bowen and Broja are the only 2 forwards to have hit Defcon all season, and those +2 pointers do add up. Captaincy next. 98% are going for Haaland, just 1 Foden and 1 Saka captaincy. Other than that, entirely Haaland for Chelsea home. I mean, there's all sorts of speculations, isn't there, following Maresca's departure, why he left, how the players will react, which players could be happy about it, for tactical reasons, or which ones might be devastated. It's going to be a really fascinating game. It is hard to look past Haaland with a home fixture against Chelsea in the context of everything. We'll move straight on. So it's the experts team next, and a few changes to the team. It's Raya in goal. It's a 3-5-2 with Dorgu, Gabriel and Van Dijk at the back. In midfield it's Foden, Cunha, Saka, Anderson and Szoboszlai, and up front Ekitike pairs with Haaland. After all that Dorgu hype a couple of games ago playing out of position, Amorim reverts him to left wing back and they concede as well. He did score of course late in the game, but it was marginally offside, and I think that boat is probably sailed now. It's not worth buying him just for 2 games. Dubravka, Anderson, Rodon and Guillaume on the bench. Rodon's just there for budget reasons basically, to fund the starting 11. There are some other defenders that are highly owned ahead of Rodon like Hall, Tarkowski, Keane. Timber as well is still quite highly owned, just not in the team because Gabriel has overtaken him and knocked him out of the team. So the Arsenal triple up is currently Raya, Gabriel and Saka. Big question is, where's the template headed next? Getting ahead of the curve is really hard in FPL, but it's a fast way up the ranks in mini leagues if you correctly predict it. I'm trying to stay flexible myself right now for Bruno and Palmer. They're the ones I'm looking at. Bruno whenever he's available. Or I guess at this point, unless he's back for Burnley Gameweek 21, then Bruno can wait until after Man City and Arsenal, so Gameweek 24 onwards. Let's not forget, he was the top scoring midfielder in the game for a while before the injury. So that's also the same time that Chelsea hit a crazy fixture on Gameweek 24. So Palmer, Enzo, maybe defender or Sanchez could be amazing. Pickford and Tarkowski as well, they're growing in ownership lately, so maybe they're the next big pick. 6 clean sheets and 9. Good long-term fixtures for a couple of months for Everton. Perhaps Rodgers is the next ahead of the curve pick. Where do you guys think the template is headed? Who's the next big pick? Big shout out to our top all-time managers for getting their responses in so fast this week, given last game week ended last night and the next one starts tomorrow morning. It's final thoughts and tips up next. Here's what they wanted to say to you. FPL Mark says, Rodgers in for Semenyo is the initial plan, but if we hear Rice is out longer than Gameweek 21, then I'll sell him instead for Rodgers, or if any further injuries occur, this could also alter my plans. Stuart Brandt is pushing for a 4th top 10k, and he's playing FPL on hard mode for a bit of fun this season, doing a no Haaland challenge. Non-Haaland owner, but I cannot resist chasing price rises and avoiding price drops, even though money in the bank is very unlikely to be an issue, as I'm never going there. I brought Låbakk in a few weeks ago for that reason, and I never planned to play him, and I moved him for Ekitike. So I went Rice to Rodgers before his price rise, and I'm hoping I don't regret that decision. I'm 43k with no Haaland, so anything is possible from here on in. FPL Vert says, new year, new me. Because I've taken my first hit of the season. I plan to own Gabriel and Vardy for the long term since they're such massive goal threats. Gabriel scored in his return for the first team, and Vardy racked up 4 shots and 0.83 expected goals in just half an hour off the bench. Also, Rodgers was rising, and Semenyo is A, playing Arsenal, and B, seemingly off to City. Good luck everyone. And lastly, Alex Mason says, I've got that horrible feeling after using a free hit and briefly forgetting my previous team looks like a complete shambles. It's taken all of me not to impulse wildcard, but we have to stay patient with it being a marathon, not a sprint. Game weeks are currently thick and fast, so I think it's a case of riding through, optimising where you can and staying patient for bigger gains in the future game weeks. Here's to lots of green arrows for us all in 2026. Happy New Year everyone. Thanks very much for watching. If you missed it, the team selection video from earlier is on screen now, plus the players to buy video for Gameweek 20. I'm going to be live in the morning as always for the deadline stream as well. See you all then.